Welcome to Less Than 15, a show for busy business owners brought to you by DFK Australia, New Zealand. Each week we deliver bite-sized, actionable insights from industry experts so you're across the issues that really matter. I'm your host, Angela Raspas. Let's dive into this week's topic. Well, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Less Than 15 podcast. Today we have Gihan Perera, a business futurist, a conference speaker and an AI researcher, and an author who helps us understand how to become fit for the future in a fast-changing world. When Gihan did his thesis 30 years ago, it was on AI. So that is an absolute testament to the way that this man understands the impact of the technology. So Gihan, thank you so much for spending your time here with us today. I'm looking forward to demystifying AI. Well, the first thing we want to dig into here is why is it valuable for small to medium businesses to really consider how they can bring AI, the capability of it, within the heart of their business? What are the core benefits here that you see?
Well, I think if you narrow it down, it's going to be two things, Angela. So boosting productivity and enhancing your customer or client experience. And it's interesting we're asking the question now. In 5 years' time, we'd be thinking that's a crazy question to ask. It's asking now, what's the value of bringing Google into your business? So AI is going to be like Google, and it is for many people already. I'm not making the exact analogy, but it's going to be such a powerful tool that everyone will think, well, why didn't we do it sooner?
So can you give us an example of, say, a small to medium business that has had those two experiences themselves? When I was looking into your Accelerate AI resource, which we're going to make available on the show notes page for everybody, there were some great examples of scheduling patient appointments and classifying expenses and reviewing quality control, for example.
Yeah, look, I think my favorite example, because I was partly responsible for it, I facilitated this group doing it, is a daycare center. And they have a group of people who decided they want to improve their productivity. They look after very young kids. And every time a child enrolls, they have to create a development plan for that child. And it used to take 3 hours to create that plan. And then they looked at how to do it using AI, and they brought that down to 15 minutes.
My
So
goodness.
that what used to take an expert 3 hours, it now takes AI 10 minutes, and then they apply their human intelligence on top to refine it. So it takes 15 minutes now, which is a huge productivity boost. And the other benefit of that is they can do it more frequently. Because previously they might only update it every 6 months or every 12 months. But now, because they can do it very, very quickly using AI, they actually provide a better experience for their clients, the parents of these kids. This team, they chose that project. They had not really used AI before. I showed them how to do the research to find solutions. They found a recommendation of a tool to use. They'd never used that tool before. So then they asked AI for help in using that tool. And within a couple of days, they created at least a prototype of this, which now they've rolled out throughout the whole organization. It's a huge benefit to them, both in productivity and in their client experience.
I loved how you said they then applied their human intelligence. That's actually an important area, isn't it? This is not replacing us. This is actually symbiotic. That if we are using our creative intelligence with the tools that are now available to us, there's those enormous gains that can be had.
Yeah, exactly. And for most of us using AI, that's what we should be doing. We should be always using it as an assistant, not an expert. And we always, whatever we get from the AI, we add our intelligence on top of it. We're going to use AI in a way that is a tool, just like we use Google, just like we use Excel, all of those tools, but we always apply a human intelligence to it, not just generate something and then assume it's perfect, because it never is.
No, it's always going to have our magic injected into it as well. And one of the things you were saying there about the daycare centre, which is such a great example, is that they chose the project. So they looked and decided where there was an opportunity where they could have that improved productivity, that improved client relationship. So can we provide some guidance to our listeners as to how can they identify where there are projects within their business where AI could be extremely helpful in a similar way? Is there some criteria that we should be considering here to help make those sort of choices?
Yeah, and I like the question itself, Angela, because you're assuming that you're going to choose some projects for some particular criteria. And I reckon there are four universal currencies if you're thinking about workplace currencies. So, time, is it going to save time, boost productivity? Money, is it going to make money for us or save money for us? Well-being, is it going to reduce stress and improve well-being of our team? And all our, like everybody, all our employees. And the last one is engagement. Is it going to increase engagement? And that could either be internally within your organization, within your team, or externally with your customers, clients, patients, other stakeholders. So the first thing to do is actually pick real projects that are going to achieve one or more of those goals. Actually, I think there's a fifth one as well. And the fifth one, which is particularly relevant now, is by doing these AI projects, it's about education and learning and awareness. By doing these projects, people increase their awareness of AI. They're not scared by it. They're not completely influenced by what they see in the media, which tends to be, unfortunately, negative stories.
Yeah.
So they learn to use it. Yeah. And even organizations who are rolling out these big, massive AI projects, the best organizations, the best leaders, they're saying, even before we get to that point, let's get our people comfortable using AI. They're not scared that it's going to take their job. They're not scared that it's going to be a huge learning curve. They go, oh, it's just like another tool, just like creating an Excel macro or an Excel formula. We get this. It's just the next step.
That's actually what the exact words that were in my head as you were speaking, is that it's another tool. It's something else in our toolbox that just happens to look and feel and sound different. But it is like anything else that I use within my business. But that getting people comfortable with it, sometimes the first step, I'm thinking of the business owners that I know that sort of go, oh, I'm not sure about this, if I've really got time for all of that. What do we do under those scenarios?
Yeah, and I think there's two parts to that, Angela. So you're quite right. It's first of all that leaders being comfortable with letting their people loose on AI. Just getting to that point, absolutely. So the main thing that they can do is start using it themselves, even in their personal lives, because there's so many people now who have never tried any of these generative AI tools. And I always recommend just do it to organize a kid's birthday party or to figure out, take a photo of the inside of your fridge and ask AI to create a meal plan for you for the next 3 days. And even as I'm saying this, there's some people going, AI can do that. And absolutely it can. Right? And this is the sort of thing that you can do without worrying about any, like, using it on private data, on confidential data, breaching the Privacy Act, all those sort of things that leaders are rightly cautious about and careful about and concerned about. You can play with AI, which hasn't always been the case with many other technologies. Often there needed to be a huge investment of time and money and resources to actually get people to that base level. But it's not true now. Like, we've literally got at our fingertips this very powerful and free AI software, and whether you're using ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot or Perplexity, it doesn't matter. You can set up an account. It's free. You can start using it. And as long as you recognize and understand that you shouldn't be uploading any private information to it, just use it to play around. Plan your next holiday using the tool. And also, and as long as you understand that the tool is not perfect. So what you get from it is not perfect, but you'd be amazed at what it can do for you. So even for business owners, for leaders, for everybody, just start using it.
Get in there and get your feet wet. I had an idea that the barrier to entry is so low for us to actually
Yeah,
begin
and it
to
hasn't always been the
explore.
case.
Yeah, not at all.
For most other things in the past, there was a reasonable investment of time, money, resources. Now it's simply sign up, try for an hour, and just experiment and see what you get.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that there's so many tools and different things that are out there, but when you're at the beginning of this journey, starting, I loved the piece of advice that you gave to me before we spoke, before we started this recording, is that ask ChatGPT for what AI tools might be most useful for this particular type of project. And lo and behold, it makes some recommendations that you can start to explore as well. So I know I've used ChatGPT for a long time now, and it's certainly, if I added up the hours that it saves me in planning and preparation and systemizing things, it's quite astonishing. So that's the place where I always recommend for my own clients to begin. So if we're thinking about the immediate or long-term benefits benefits of implementing an AI project. You've given us those two key areas, productivity and the client experience, where there's definitive payoffs. But can we paint perhaps a little more blue sky? If you're thinking of a small to medium business now who starts down this path, what can they see the payoff to them potentially being if they invest that time and energy now becoming familiar with how these tools can help?
And look, AI is just expanding so quickly that anything that you do today is going to be obsolete, or at least there's going to be a better version of it in 6 or 12 months' time. So the first thing I say is don't be scared to start stuff now, knowing that it's going to change in 6 or 12 months' time. That's just our world as it is now. If you're looking at long-term gains, again, I like the Google analogy. I'm not saying AI is going to replace Google, but if you think about Google, you can use Google to do research that previously used to have to go to libraries or large filing cabinets or online databases to get access to. If you'd never seen Google before and somebody said, hey, there's this thing called Google, which means you don't have to go to a library anymore, you'd go, that's amazing. That's going to transform everything we do in our business. It's not going to change necessarily our value proposition, but it's going to make our jobs easier. And AI is that. So the long-term value of AI is that AI just becomes part of your everyday work. And there's some research done by Amazon in Australia, and they asked Australian business owners, CEOs, leaders, do you think your organization is going to be an AI-driven organization in the next 5 years? And this was 2028, it was 5 years from now. And 90%, 9 out of 10 leaders said our organization is going to be AI-driven within the next 5 years, and sometimes even before that. And I feel sorry for the other 10%, because it is like saying, do you think that we'll have technology in our company in 5 years' time? If you'd asked that 30 years ago, some people would say, no, we don't. Technology is not important to us. We're a people business, and that's not going to change. But it's technology supporting the people. And this is just another version of technology that's going to be supporting us to do what we do best. So that's going to be the long-term impact. It'll just be a part of our everyday work, everyday lives.
And I do love that concept, and this is what I really want our listeners to hear, that it's the tech supporting the people. It's the fact that we can enjoy what we're doing, we can make it easier, more productive, etc., etc. It's that combination that's really important. Yeah. Well, as we are coming to the end of this very quick dive into the possibilities for small businesses with AI, if you're just thinking of someone that's listening today and they're going, okay, it's time. We said that, yes, go and play with ChatGPT, get yourself comfortable and familiar. Is there any other key tip that you would leave with our listeners to help facilitate this movement into embracing AI within their organization?
Yeah, sure. And so I would say it's not about you. So you don't need to be the person who leads the AI initiative in your team. So find one or two, depending on the size of your organization, size of your business, find 1, 2, half a dozen AI champions, because there are people there who are excited about it, enthusiastic about it. They're trying to get AI in, they're trying to push it. And they're the people that you want to, first of all, identify and then support and facilitate them leading the AI journey. So find your AI champions. Make sure you've got your IT team on board as well, because it's incredibly important now to make sure that they do it safely and responsibly, whatever you're doing with AI. But your AI champions don't have to be you. It might be, but you've probably got other things to do. And there are other people who are excited about it. They don't always have to be the young people either. They often are, but that's a stereotype, which isn't always true. There are AI champions everywhere. Just look for them and ask them, invite them to be the ones leading that journey.
That's a wonderful, wonderful suggestion. Thank you so much, Gihan. Your time here has been invaluable in opening this new idea, opening this new window for our listeners to leap out and to start explore this brave new world.
Thanks, Angela. Great.
And so, our listeners, you might be the AI champion, but there may be others within your organization that can start to lead this charge forward. Improving productivity, improving that client experience, those are all things that we're looking for as business owners. And if AI can facilitate that, then let's definitely get out there and explore it. Thank you for your time today, and we look forward to bringing you some more great insights and tips on the next episode of Less Than 15. Take care. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Less Than 15 and have a fresh idea or two to take action on. Hit the subscribe button so you catch every bite-sized business bulletin. And we'd love you to leave a review or perhaps share the episode with a friend. Less Than 15 is brought to you by Accountants and Business Advisors DFK Australia New Zealand, helping business owners make better decisions through local knowledge, national connections, and global reach. We'll be back next week with more valuable insights to help you and your business grow.